एवरीवन, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से स्वागत है। आज की वीडियो में हम पढ़ने वाले हैं एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम के बारे में। एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम क्या है? एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम बेसिकली कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करता है हॉर्मोन्स को। और हॉर्मोन्स कहाँ से सीक्रेट होते हैं? हॉर्मोन्स सीक्रेट होते हैं आपकी एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड से। उसके अलावा एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड के अलावा कुछ अदर हेल्पिंग ऑर्गन्स भी होते हैं जो आपके एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम को बनाने में मदद करते हैं। एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स वो ग्लैंड्स होती हैं जो अपने सीक्रेशन को डायरेक्टली ब्लड स्ट्रीम में पोर करती हैं। इन्हें हम कहते हैं एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स। देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ ग्लैंड्स इन ह्यूमन बॉडी, एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड एंड एक्सोक्राइन ग्लैंड। एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स आर दोज which secrete their portion, which secrete their hormone directly into the bloodstream, whereas exocrine glands, they secrete their secretion into a duct, into a vessel. Then this vessels carry this hormone and then it releases the hormone into the bloodstream. So you can see pancreas is an example of both endo and exocrine kind of a gland. So in endocrine system basically consists of such glands which secrete their secretion directly into the bloodstream without help of any kind of blood vessels, or you can say duct. Now this endocrine system does not only contain endocrine glands. There are other organs which are called helping organs or other cells which helps in the making of endocrine system. For example, skin, because it secretes certain hormones. Then again liver, stomach, okay, because stomach also contains secrete also certain hormones. Then comes adrenal gland situated on the top of kidneys, so kidneys will be the organs which secretes hormone. Then thymus gland, hypothalamus gland, these are the glands which are not considered as endocrine gland, but they also secrete some hormones. So we can say now endocrine system basically consists of endocrine gland and other hormone secreting cells, organs or tissues. All right, now as far we now that know that this endocrine system is all about hormones, so we must know basic about hormones. Hormones are nothing but chemical messengers. Now chemical means they will be chemical in nature. Messenger means their function will be to carry the message, and they helps in transferring the message from the one cell to the near cell, or sometimes to their own cells from which they secrete. So on that basis there are two types of hormones. One, circulatory hormones, and second is local hormone. Circulatory hormones are those hormones which carry their secretions and their target cells is at a very great distance. On the other hand, local hormones, they have their secretion to the local sites. For example, there are two types of hormones which act locally. First is paracrine, second is autocrine. Paracrine hormones will be those which secretes their hormone to the nearby adjacent cells. For example, this is a cell. It is a secretory cell. It contains hormone. It is releasing its hormone, and the target cell, this target cell is in the proximity of this secreting cell. So this type of hormone will show paracrine effect. Second is autocrine effect. Autocrine effect is the defined as is in this effect this hormone will bind onto the receptors which are located on the cell from which they are secreted. That is called autocrine effect. Moving on to the another classification of hormones. Hormones are classified on the basis of their solubility into two classes: lipid soluble hormones and water soluble hormone. You can see here lipid soluble hormones, basically they are soluble in lipids, and water soluble hormones are soluble in water. Now there are three types of lipid soluble hormones. First is steroids, second is nitric oxide gas. Gas is again comes under the classification of hormone, and third is the thyroid. In water soluble hormone there are three types of hormones which are soluble in water: protein and peptide hormones, amine hormones, and eicosanoid hormones. So these three comes under water soluble hormone, and these three comes under lipid soluble hormone. Now steroids, as you all know, steroids are basically they are the hormones, and the basic core structure in steroid is cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin moiety. The difference in the substitution on this core structure makes different kinds of steroids. Next, Nitric oxide, as you know that nitric oxide is a gas by state, and it helps in the dilation of vessels whenever, and it is present in the endothelial cells. For example, this is your blood vessel. There is an inner lining in the blood vessel. This is called endothelial lining. So this endothelial lining secrete nitric oxide gas, and this nitric oxide gas has an effect of dilation. It increases the diameter of blood vessels, resulting increased blood flow. So it helps in maintaining the blood flow. Moving on, thyroid. Now you must have heard the thyroid term, because most of the people are suffering from nowadays either due to hyperthyroidism or from hypothyroidism. So thyroid is again a very important hormone in human body. It plays very important role in metabolism. So thyroid, basically there are two types of hormones. T3 stands for triiodothyronine and T4 stands for tetraiodothyronine. Moving on to the water soluble hormone, these hormones are water soluble. Proteins and peptides like insulin. Insulin comes under peptide and protein hormone. Second is amine hormone. Examples are there are so many examples like histamine. If it is amine, then it must have some amino group in its structural formula. So histamine is the example of amine hormone. Then serotonin, the pleasant hormone in our body. Then dopamine. These are some amine hormones. Moving on to the third water soluble hormone, icosanoid. Ico means 20 and sinusoid means cells, resembling cells. So icosanoid, basically it is you can say it is a hormone which is derived from arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is 20 carbon containing fatty acid. So this is termed as ico because it resembles with arachidonic acid due to the similarity on the basis of number of carbon present in this. Icosanoid hormones also contains 20 carbon in their structural formula, and arachidonic acid also contains 20 carbon in its structural formula. Now, the basic mechanism of action of hormone is based on their solubility. That is why it's very important for all of us to understand to which class this hormone belongs. Either it belongs to the water soluble or to the lipid soluble. So, see, there are different mechanisms for lipid soluble hormones and different mechanism for water soluble. So, I will be teaching today mechanism of action for lipid soluble hormones. So, how this hormones acts. See, basically now you know that these hormones are circulating in the bloodstream. This is the blood vessel, and these are the hormones which are freely circulating into the bloodstream. Now they will pass this blood vessels, they will diffuse out from this blood vessels, and they will enter into the interstitial fluid, and then through the interstitial fluid they will enter into the, this is the structure of cell. This is a eukaryotic cell, and you know that our cell outermost covering is plasma membrane, which is made up of, which is a phospholipid bilayer. It is a phospholipid bilayer. Means to say, this plasma membrane is again made up of lipids. So as you all know, what is the formula for solubility? Like dissolves like. If a substance is water soluble, it will dissolve in water, and if a substance is lipid soluble, it will dissolve in lipid solvent. So now you know that this hormone is lipid soluble. So this hormone will easily diffuse from this phospholipid bilayer, and it will enter into the nucleus. This is a nucleus membrane. Now what happens for lipid soluble hormones? As you know, every hormone will exert its effect only when it binds with the receptors. So for lipid soluble hormones, their receptors are located within the nucleus of cell. Whereas for water soluble hormones, receptors are not inside the nucleus. For them, the receptors are here on the outer surface of plasma membrane. This case is for water soluble hormone. Now we are learning here the mechanism of action for lipid soluble hormone. So for lipid soluble hormones, the receptors are located within the nucleus. See, this is a receptor. This blue color is represented as receptor. So this receptors, when it binds with the hormone, because hormone is lipid soluble, so it can easily pass, it can easily diffuse from this lipid bilayer and enter into the nucleus. On reaching to the nucleus, it will bind to the receptor and hormone receptor complex will form. When this hormone receptor complex forms, what it does, actually when it binds with the receptor, it produces a enzymatic activity and it releases certain messengers. So what happen after that, when it binds, it causes change in the genetic expression. It stimulates the synthesis of mRNA. After genetic expression change, synthesis of mRNA takes place and a newly synthesized mRNA diffuses out from the nucleus into the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, there is a protein synthesis factory called ribosomes. So when this mRNA binds to the, it interacts with the ribosome, and when mRNA binds with the on the ribosome, it translates into a protein. You know that translation is a process when mRNA converts into protein. So when this mRNA binds onto the ribosome, a newly synthesized protein will form, and this protein, it's a newly synthesized protein. It is synthesized only on the interaction of hormone to the receptor. So this specific protein will form, and this protein will produce several enzymatic activities. This is how a hormone produces its response. Now the response of hormone is not always the production of a different kind of molecule. Like in this case, a different kind of molecule protein was synthesized, and then this protein will perform its activity. It's a specific activity for which it was synthesized. But there are other activities of hormones, like sometimes hormone increases the permeability of substances from into the cell and out to the cell, so it helps in the transportation also. Sometimes it increases the permeability. So there are lots of functions performed by the hormones. So this is the basic mechanism of action for lipid soluble hormone. Now let's study the case of water soluble hormone. Now in case of water soluble hormone, the receptors are not inside the nucleus. Now the receptors are on the outer surface of plasma membrane, because this hormone is now water soluble. Water soluble hormone cannot pass this lipid layer of plasma membrane. So for them, the receptor has to be on the outer surface. So when this, when this hormone releases, it passes, releases from this blood vessel through the interstitial fluid. It reaches to the plasma membrane, and on the surface of plasma membrane, this hormone finds the receptors and they bind with the receptors. When this enzyme and this hormone and this receptor binds, so this complex activates adenyl. I will write here. It activates adenyl cyclase. Okay. In this case, the hormone acts as a first messenger. Why we call it first messenger? Because this messenger has activated the adenyl cyclase. Now this adenyl cyclase, what it does? It converts ATP into AMP. Okay. So what it does? Cyclic AMP is a second messenger. Now it activates, it converts the adenosine triphosphate, the coin of energy, into adenosine monophosphate. And this adenosine monophosphate activates protein kinases. And this protein kinases enzyme produces several kinds of proteins, or you can say enzymes. That is how the water soluble enzymes perform its action. Now, so this was basic all about the hormone and the mechanism of hormone for lipid soluble hormone and for water soluble hormone. I hope this video you might have found informative for you. If you like my video, please do like, share with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.